Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a little different. We are finally doing the question and answer session. I have like recorded and re-recorded this video several times, and each time I really don't like it, so this is going to be the final version. And yeah, so basically this is just me answering some of you guys' questions. I got a lot of questions, a lot more than I was expecting, and so basically I'm gonna spend, I don't know, a few seconds on each question. It might turn into, sorry, my dog's walking around. It might turn into, well, I don't know if it's gonna turn into a two-part, but you'll see as the video comes out. And I think that's it. So basically these are just my opinions. I am not the end-all be-all person of authority on these questions. I am not the only answer, and I highly suggest that you ask other people these questions. So yeah, so let's just get started. So the first question is, what are the key things that you considered when applying to clinical psych PhD programs? So for me, one of the main things I looked for was a good fit with the research professor / your advisor. That is like above all the like most important thing. Secondly, I looked for location. I wanted to be in the South or somewhere I have lived before, and so I ended up here in St. Louis, and I lived about 45 minutes north of here. I grew up here as a military kid, so I was familiar with the area. I had also visited SLU 2 times before I even applied here, doing some like programs to help undergrads get into grad school. I looked into that. I looked into funding. That's really important. And so there might be some places who are better. My dog is just walking around in the background, just making so much noise. There might be places that are better for you, like research-wise, but the funding's not good. So you have to like really consider all those things. And then lastly, I looked at the like model of the program. So I wanted a program that was very middle of the road, both scientist and practitioner. Where like some schools say that, like, oh, we're scientist practitioner, but I really wanted a school that like modeled those things to me. And so yeah, those are like the main 4 things I considered when applying to PhD programs. So the next question is, what are some things you wish you knew prior to applying for and attending grad school? So prior to prior to applying, I wish I had really like budgeted out how much it was going to cost to apply. Like just applying in general is so expensive. You have to apply, you have to do the application fees, GRE scores, transcripts, all these like little costs add up, and then you have to account for that for each school. And so that was a big thing I wish I had done more of. And I think I wish I had done more of looking for programs. Not that I'm unhappy in this program or anything, I just wish that I would have broadened the location sort of aspect, or even like applied to more schools close to home. I think I would have done that differently. But prior to attending grad school, I think one of the things I wish I had known is like just certain programs are very fast-paced, and I wasn't aware that my program was like a faster paced program, but I am like really happy here with that, so it works for me. I think I wish I had known how soon you would be thrown metaphorically into, my dog, y'all, metaphorically into the water of just like grad school, you know, research things, clinical things. It's just like, I guess for my program specifically, it's very fast paced, and I wish I would have known better, like known that that was gonna happen. But I mean, the system works, everybody gets through, and everybody is like really successful. So I guess it works, and yeah. The next question is my profile coming into grad school. So I just want to caveat this with like, everybody's profile is going to look different, and it's all honestly going to depend on the research advisor you're applying to. Each person, each advisor is looking for different things, and they look for different things each year. So my profile this year, or coming in, worked and it fit here, but it might have not fit a year before or a year after. So I just want to preface that with that. Preface this with that. So I came out of undergrad with a 3.9 GPA. I graduated with a psychology major. I was a part of the honors college. I was also a part of 2 other honor societies, including Psi Chi and Golden Key. What else did I do? I was a peer counselor for 2 years. I worked on the student recruitment team for my university for 3 years. I also had a summer internship at Stanford, at Princeton, and then I worked for about almost 2 years doing a research project at the university. I also worked in some of these summer camps, sort of like these programs for kids to come to Hampton and do like these summer enrichment programs, basically. I worked as a teacher in a few of those, and I'm trying to think, is that it for Hampton things, you know? Like, I think that's it for Hampton. And then when I graduated, I took a year off to really focus on the GRE. And then I went to the University of Pittsburgh for a post-bac program where I got to do my own sort of like research, independent research, work in a lab and on their research and on the lab's research things. And then I also got to take graduate level courses. Yeah. Okay, sorry my camera cut off, but yeah, I think that is it for my profile. I've had really great experiences thus far, really like a lot of research experiences, and so I know that a lot of universities look for that, so that's what I did. How did I decide which schools to apply for? I kind of touched on this before, but I really looked for a match with the research professor, or like with the person I wanted to work up under research-wise. I really wanted a person who had the same interests as me and could expand my interests more and like take me kind of from this level of interest to the next level. That was really important to me. The next question is kind of similar. How many programs did I apply for? I applied for 9 clinical psych PhD programs. I applied to 2 MSWs, so that's 11. I applied to Harvard's Graduate School of Education, and I also applied to Michigan's Developmental Psychology and MSW program. And yeah, that's just because my interests are kind of broad, but it worked out the best here at SLU, and so yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, this next question kind of goes with the previous questions too, of what made my application stand out. I think, sorry, that was weird. I think one of the main things that made my application stand out was I told a very coherent story in my personal statement about how I basically came into my research interest. I think that really helps. And I think I've just had a breadth of research experiences. All of my research experiences have been very different and very, I don't know, diverse, I guess. But I think that really helped because I bring a lot of different experiences and I know a little bit of different things like grant writing. I know about community-based participatory research. I've had experience working in education, working with archival data, working with large national data sets. So I just have a breadth of experiences, and so I think that helps stand out. But honestly, I don't really know. I'm just happy it did stand out and we are here today. So the next question is, what has your GA experience been like? So like I kind of said before, I've had a few different GAs. So I think I'm gonna talk about my Pittsburgh GA and then my GA here at SLU. Sorry, my nose is itchy. It's just a thing. When I record, my nose itches. I don't know. But okay, so at Pittsburgh, my GA was very different than my GA here. I felt like at Pittsburgh, my GA was like very like, you need to put in these hours, be sure to log these hours, track these hours, and submit them, have tangible goals. And I just felt like I was doing a lot of like heavy lifting work, which makes it sound like I'm like lazy or something, but I loved my GA in Pittsburgh because it allowed me, I didn't have to take that many classes, and it just allowed me to work on stuff that was really interesting and really new to me. And then my GA here at SLU is a little different just because of the program structure is different. I feel like I have a lot less time to do my GA, but still there's these like tangible things I need to get done. There's no like time tracking or anything like that, but I do feel like I put a lot of work in, I guess. I don't know. It's been a good experience thus far, and I don't regret taking a GA. I don't know if that's answering the question, but my experience has been great thus far with my GAs, and yeah. So the next question is, why not do a master's degree? Why do a doctorate over a master's degree? For me, doing a master's degree would have been a short-term solution to something that I would have eventually had to do anyways. I think for me, doing a doctorate is just sort of like a straight through path. Most clinical psych doctoral programs, I don't know about other doctoral programs, but you earn a master's along the way. So to me, it didn't make sense for me to get an additional master's and then go to the clinical psych PhD program and get another one. It just didn't work that way for me, and I didn't think it was what I wanted to do. But I did apply to master's programs after, like when I was applying to school, I applied to MSW programs. I was really interested in sort of these joint programs of MSW and MPH programs, or Masters of Public Health programs, which is kind of like jerry-rigging the research and the clinical work I wanted to do anyways. So for me, it just didn't make sense logically for me to do a master's degree, but there are people in my programs who have a master's degree, and yeah, just it can only add to your experiences. I just didn't do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. That's not my story to tell, if that makes sense. Also, kind of going along with this, it says, do you know someone who has their master's and then later decided to do their PhD? Yes, a lot of my mentors at Hampton did that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with like doing a master's, seeing what you want to do, seeing if this is what you want to do long term. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, or if you're leaning towards doing a gap year, I am totally supportive of that too. I think it's just what works well for you and what you want to do long term. I think that sometimes students, and myself included, get caught up in like the short term of like, I need to do this now, when like this now thing doesn't apply to this long-term goal, if that makes sense. So you always have to think like end goal in mind. Like, if I want to be a professor, how do I get there? And then work backwards of like, okay, I gotta get a PhD, gotta do a master's. Well, what type of professor do I want to be? And then that essentially is kind of how I decided what I was gonna do. Hopefully that makes sense. What are some of your New Year's resolutions for grad school? Okay, so, oh, my camera is like not focused. Okay, so for grad school, some of my resolutions are that I want to begin a daily writing habit where I write every day for 30 minutes. Where I write like on my research things, not necessarily like papers and stuff, but work on moving my research projects forward. I really want to start that. I also really want to start getting up earlier and working out, but it's been really cold, so it makes me not want to leave the apartment. So I'm gonna try in March, like sort of like the last half of March, I'm planning on starting to work out again. What else? I'm planning on, another resolution of mine is working on like saying no, because I feel like sometimes I take on opportunities that I don't necessarily want, but I don't want to like not take them on because it's a good opportunity. So I'm working on that, and I'm working on being more strict with myself on my deadlines that I set for myself, because most of the time I am pretty strict, but sometimes, like as of lately, I'm just like, oh, it'll get done, and it's not getting done. So I really want to work on being stricter with that. Okay, so this is going to end part 1 of the question and answer session. There will be part 2 next week. Be sure to watch that. Be sure to comment below if you have any additional questions. I will be sure to answer them. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. I'll put my name here. I'm trying to think what else I normally say at the end of these, but yeah, the next video will be part 2 of this question and answer session. It'll probably have the same intro, and then we'll jump right into the rest of the questions. And yeah, so if you've watched this far, please leave a blue emoji, like any blue emoji that you would like. And I will see you guys in the next one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace.